lot of times people see us as, computers. We're like machines. We go hoop. We don't have feelings. We're supposed to shut up. We're supposed to take less money than the billionaire owners. We're supposed to not argue, not say anything. People can call us bees and all type of stuff, and we're supposed to not respond.
I once met LeBron James. Okay, so I didn't actually meet LeBron James. He doesn't know who I am. I never formally introduced myself to him or anything like that, but I did stand within inches of LeBron James in the visitors' locker room when the Cleveland Cavaliers came to Detroit to take on the Pistons early on in 2018. I was there because of my network, NBA Playmakers. They wanted me to do a sort of a behind the scenes of an NBA game type of thing, encouraging me to get in there, go and interview those players, and be part of the media. So I did. After the game, I get escorted down to the locker room of the Cleveland Cavaliers, since I was told that's where all the other reporters would be. I mean, you could try to get a story out of the Detroit Pistons players, but let's be real here, on a national level, especially since they had just gotten blown out in that game, not too many people were going to care. Or you go to the Cavs locker room and try to get a story out of LeBron James. Needless to say, all of the reporters did end up in the Cleveland Cavaliers locker room. So I get to the locker room and I was actually lucky enough to get there a bit earlier than the other reporters. While they were all fighting and shoving with each other for position to try and be the one to get the inside scoop of the next big story, there I was, standing right in front of LeBron James, face to face, eye to eye, dang near nose to nose because of how much I was getting pushed from behind by the other reporter. Anyways, like I said, there I was, standing just mere inches away from LeBron. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and all I could do was stand there, trembling. Due to fear or excitement, look, I don't really know. All I did know was that it didn't feel as if I was standing in the presence of a human. I was completely starstruck. And I suppose that it's only natural that I will be so starstruck in front of a player, a celebrity, and a generational icon such as LeBron James. After all, the guy has won championships, MVPs, made hundreds of millions of dollars, starred in movies, has all of the rappers and other famous people of stature in today's society on speed dial. He's got freaking Rihanna drooling over him from the sidelines of his games. How am I supposed to view this man as anything but some sort of magnificent deity? It's impossible. However, looking back at it now though, I do wish I'd have done things differently. Maybe if leading up to that point, if I had any idea, first of all, that I would come face to face with LeBron, I would have at least been trying to think of questions that I wanted to ask so that the entire situation would have felt just a little less awkward. But more importantly, I wish that instead of seeing him as some sort of deity, that I saw him for what he really was, which is just another human like you and I. Let's take a look at Kevin Durant. Today, even the most popular words used to describe him are snake, cupcake, soft, sensitive, crybaby, traitor, insecure, and just flat out all around pathetic, he is also seen as someone who was just destined to play basketball. Standing at 7 feet tall, with handles that even some of the savviest guards in the league envy, alongside one of the silkiest shooting strokes the league has ever seen, it couldn't have been hard for him to get to where he's at. And now that he's at the top, well, we all hate him because he took the easy way out. And it's easy to become an NBA champion when you sign up with a team that already won a championship. And not only that, but to sign up with a team that had just set the record for most wins in a season the year before you joined. Look, there's no doubt that Kevin Durant is just the guy who, when the going got tough, he got going. Kevin Durant is one of the softest players that the league has ever seen.
Growing up. Because playing basketball, it was like every day was like it was pressure to play every day. Because I felt like I had so much on me. I had to prove my mom's, my brother, and my godfather, people that taught me the game, that I can do it, that I wanted to do it. I wanted to help my family get out of the neighborhood at one point.
434. That's the number of crime-related deaths that took place in PG County the year after Kevin Durant was born. 483. That's the number of crime-related deaths that took place in PG County 2 years after Kevin Durant was born. Less than 1. That's the percentage of Kevin Durant making it to where he is today. Statistically speaking, born into an environment crawling with drug dealers, gangs, and murderers, where even the mayor got locked up on drug-related charges, and with a father who initially walked out on his family, Kevin Durant should either be dead or incarcerated.
I'm just blessed to be in this position. I mean, I can't be picky, and whoever picks me, I'm willing to go and work hard.
Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. This quote was originally coined by Tim Noke, but it was made popular by Kevin Durant. It's a quote that he was taught when he was young, and it's a quote that he still lives by today. Growing up in PG County, Kevin Durant was never told that he was the most talented kid or told that he had a gift for the game of basketball. No, instead he was taught that if he wanted to make the dream that he held onto so dearly of making it to the NBA come true, that he was going to have to work harder than anyone else. He was kicked out and banned from the community gym at an early age just to teach him a lesson. He was picked on and ridiculed to no end by his peers for being so skinny, given the nickname Cookie because when any pressure was applied to him in the paint, Durant crumbled. Regardless of this though, he continued to work, continued to believe that if he and his mother were ever going to be able to live a better life, then making the NBA was the only way to make that possible. Basketball eat, basketball eat, basketball sleep, repeat. That's the recipe that Durant used since he was 9 years old. Day in and day out, no days off, even when he didn't feel like it, Durant worked and worked and worked on his game tirelessly in order to transform his dream into a reality. And he did this while at the same time having to watch his mother skip meals and pick up extra shifts at work just so he and his brother could eat. And he did this while at the same time watching the same streets that he was being brought up on claim the life of a person who taught Durant to believe in himself in the first place. And he did this while at the same time knowing that simply taking a wrong turn on his way home from chasing his dream could be the cause of him being lowered 6 feet under and end up being just another lost statistic that goes unbeknownst to the rest of the world. Kevin Durant is soft.
Katie, I'm sure you've heard by now or been told about a headline back in Oklahoma City. What is your reaction to that?
A what?
A headline in the newspaper back home.
I don't look at the newspaper. What was it?
Well, the headline said, correct me if I'm wrong, KD, I think it was Mr. Unreliable.
I'm unreliable.
Unreliable.
I don't read the newspaper. But
It's just made a lot of national news right now.
me, Mr. Unreliable, that's what they said. Well, it's all good. I don't really care, you know. Coming from my paper back at home, that's what they're supposed to write, you know. I didn't come through for the team, so you know they got to write that type of stuff. And as a player, as a competitor, you know it's gonna be good and bad days. People gonna build you up, they're gonna break you down. But it's all about how you stay even keeled, and I think that's what I am. And you know, my teammates love me, my family love me, so that's all that really matters to me. And it is what it is. We got another opportunity tonight.
Do you really believe that, KD, that it was that they should write that after what you've done for the franchise?
That's a part of their job. You know, it's all about what have you done for me lately. So I understand that, and you know, it really doesn't matter to me. I know how fans don't feel that way. I mean, if some of them do, that's cool. But my teammates, organization, my family, my friends don't feel that way. So I really don't care. I don't read the newspapers at all. I don't read Twitter or Instagram or none of that stuff. But you know, it's all about what have you done for me lately, and I understand.
That interview took place 5 years ago, and listening to it today, it's interesting to see just how much Kevin Durant has changed. Change might not even be the right word to use here either. It's interesting to see just how differently Kevin Durant responds to things of this nature. Now, in that interview, he was responding to an article that was published in a newspaper called The Oklahoman. The Thunder were currently in the midst of an intense playoff series against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies having two of the best perimeter defenders in the league at the time in Tony Allen and Tayshaun Prince, and because of that, they were able to hold Durant shooting just 15 of 45 in the field over his last 2 games leading up to that point. Hence, why the newspaper article dubbed him Mr. Unreliable, even though he was just crowned the league's MVP and helped lead the Thunder to the second best record in the entire NBA. And also keep in mind at the time, Durant was the NBA's golden child, the one that the nation adored. If LeBron James was the dastard notorious villain who had formed his League of Villains in Miami, then Durant was the God-fearing, Bible-wielding do-gooder, the one that everyone wanted to succeed. Which is a far cry from the public image that he holds today, as he has now inherited the same villainous role that LeBron held during his time in Miami. Back then, Kevin Durant claims that he didn't check Instagram, Twitter, or read the newspaper, and today, well, we know that he checks that stuff all the time, and not only checks it, but Durant is no stranger to trying to set the record straight, getting into debates with fans on social media who put into question his greatness or his character. From 5 years ago till now, it really does show a stark contrast in the way Kevin Durant chooses to speak. So what happened? That's the question that has plagued the media and NBA fans for the past few years. What happened in Kevin Durant's life that turned him from the player that was once adored by the basketball world into the overly sensitive villain of a player that we see today? Why is he acting this way?
He's aged, and along the process of aging, he's gotten more arrogant, he's gotten more disrespectful, he's gotten more dismissive, particularly of the fans. And to be quite honest with you, he hasn't gotten smarter. And the reason why he hasn't gotten smarter is because the younger Durant would have never said something so flagrantly disrespectful.
During an episode of First Things First on FS1 last year, Chris Broussard said he received a text message from Kevin Durant saying that the guy you see now is the real me. The guy in Oklahoma City was the phony. I was just trying to please everybody and do what I thought everybody wanted me to do. To which Kevin Durant was then called a liar by many, some claiming that since he was now starting to pick up more texts and was regularly getting involved in scuffles on the court, that he was simply trying to act tough, putting on a facade. After all, he can't really be as tough as he's displaying now, since he's been labeled soft ever since he left OKC. However, Kevin Durant continued to stick to the notion that he wasn't being himself in OKC, as not too long ago when he was a guest on CJ McCollum's Pull Up podcast, he admitted that earlier in his career, he put too much care into what other people had to say about him and his game, and what they thought would be best for him, and he would do those things because he wanted to please people. Kevin Durant was a people pleaser.
When he made the decision to leave Oklahoma, that's when I knew he didn't care what people thought at that point.
Yeah, I never really cared what people thought. I just thought they were a part of this whole thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just thought that I had to listen to that type of stuff because that was just a part of the game. I just thought that was just a part of me being in the NBA, was like listening to the media, talking to the media, figuring out what fans wanted, figuring out what, they thought about my game. I was looking for it. I was wanting to get better, and I wanted to figure this thing out so much that I was including everyone into my process of my evolution as a player. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was seeping in the wrong ways because I was trying to please every single one of those areas of the game. From maybe family to fans to media to front office to my teammates to the trainer, like everybody. I was really trying to be the best for. You know what I'm saying? That was just stretching me too deep and too thin, and I was playing for the wrong reason.
In OKC, he was a people-pleasing phony, saying things that he didn't mean because it's what he was supposed to say or what people wanted to hear, and listening to the input of others who had no idea who he actually was and what it was that he wanted to accomplish. His move to Golden State, however, represented Kevin Durant taking control of his own career for the first time in his career. For better or for worse, it represented Kevin Durant finally becoming Kevin Durant.
Just that you've been quiet, and you're not usually quiet. You usually share your opinions and stuff. So everybody's like trying to figure out what's going on, and we're all getting questions from fans like, what's wrong with Kevin? I just tell them he's playing okay, but he's not talking right now.
I just don't trust none of y'all. Every time I say something, it's get twisted up and thrown out in so many different publications, try to tear me down with my words that I say. So when I don't say nothing, it's a problem. I just want to play ball. I want to go to the gym and go home. That's all. Is that a problem? All right, then.
Kevin Durant is an insecure loser who will never change. This was an article that was published over the summer last year, and there's nothing special about this article in particular, as headlines like this have been running rampant ever since Durant joined the Warriors, but it does do a good job of showing how the media in general portrays Kevin Durant as an insecure loser who will never change. See, the truth to a majority of people is that these athletes, entertainers, celebrities are just supposed to take it. brush it off. Why are you taking so much offense to what some teenager had to say online? You're living the dream, making millions, an NBA champion, an MVP. Why do you feel the need to defend yourself from these irrelevant people online? You're so weak, so soft, so sensitive, so insecure, so human. These cultural icons aren't supposed to be humans. They're not supposed to show emotions. They're not supposed to show just how affected they can be by what's being said about them online. They're supposed to have thick skin and seem like nothing we say fazes them at all. And that's why we feel it's okay to keep saying these things behind our veiled security of the internet, while knowing good and well that while we might call KD a snake online, if we ever just walked up to him and saw him on the street one-on-one, we're far more likely to ask for an autograph or a picture than we are to say anything negative towards him, while at the same time going home and calling him a snake online again. Who's the snake? So then what is about Kevin Durant that caused him to bring on so much ridicule? He knows how the media is going to portray him. He knows the amount of verbal abuse and backlash that he will receive from the fans. So why doesn't Kevin Durant do the same thing that other players of his caliber have been doing for years and ignore all of the noise? Well, it's because he doesn't try to hide his humanity. He's not trying to be a villain. He's most certainly not trying to be the hero. He's just trying to be who he is, which honestly, if you strip away all the money and the fame, isn't someone too different from you and I. I don't think I'd be as starstruck if I met Kevin Durant compared to when I met LeBron James. He seems more human, like someone you could talk to about basketball and just life in general. Someone who you can relate to, maybe even on a personal level, the struggles of trying to be yourself and not worrying about fitting in with the status quo, and being unafraid to be different, being unafraid to be yourself, even if it means the world hating you for it.
Where I come from, I mean, I wasn't supposed to be here. I come from poverty, crime, and kids just don't make it out. You know, as a kid, I was always taught that you gotta be tough, you gotta be hard.
Yes.
You're not supposed to show emotion.
That's it.
But as I got older and more secure with myself, you know, it was cool to be different. That's why I'm here today.